Warcraft 3, the godfather of MOBAs, laid the groundwork for legendary games like League of Legends, Dota 2, and Mobile Legends. With its 126 unique characters, it's no wonder modern MOBAs share skill similarities. Whether you switched from Dota to Mobile Legends or just love MOBAs in general, you're bound to notice some familiar mechanics. Today, let's dive into Mobile Legends skills that are similar to Dota 2 and compare their iconic heroes. First up, the iconic Franco and Pudge. Not only do these two look eerily similar, but they also share abilities that define their gameplay. Both have a hook skill to pull enemies toward them, Franco's Iron Hook and Pudge's Meat Hook, and both have ultimates that lock enemies in place while dealing heavy damage. These two are the kings of pickoffs and clutch plays. Next, Tigreal and Magnus. Tigreal's kit is built around crowd control, just like Magnus in Dota 2. Tigreal can push enemies back with his second skill, Sacred Hammer, and then pull them together with his ultimate. This is strikingly similar to Magnus's reverse polarity, which sucks all enemies into one spot for massive team fight potential. Aldous and Puck. Alice's first skill, Flowing Blood, allows her to throw an orb and teleport to it, just like Puck's illusory orb in Dota. Both are perfect for outmaneuvering enemies and escaping tricky situations. Balmond and Juggernaut. Balmond's first skill, Cyclone Sweep, has him spinning in a circle, damaging nearby enemies. Sound familiar? It's almost identical to Juggernaut's Blade Fury, which also deals damage in a spinning motion. Perfect for clearing waves and hitting multiple targets. Selena and Mirana. Both have a long-range arrow skill that stuns enemies on impact. Selena's Abyssal Arrow and Mirana's Sacred Arrow are perfect for sniping enemies, creating opportunities for team fights or solo kills. Hayabusa and Juggernaut. Hayabusa's ultimate mirrors Juggernaut's Omnislash. Both disappear and strike multiple enemies in quick succession, delivering devastating damage to squishy targets or low-health opponents. Kaja and Razor. Kaja's Ring of Order sends out a shockwave that damages and slows enemies around him. This is very similar to Razor's Plasma Field, which creates a similar circular shockwave effect. Both are excellent for poking enemies and controlling space. Miya and Medusa. Both marksmen excel at farming and clearing waves, and allows her to attack multiple targets at once, similar to Medusa's Split Shot, which lets her hit multiple enemies simultaneously. Irithel and Mirana. These two are both mounted heroes, Mirana on her tiger and Irithel on her saber companion. Both use bows as their weapons and have leaping skills for mobility. Irithel's Strafe and Mirana's Leap are great for repositioning during fights or escaping danger. Aldous and Spirit Breaker. Aldous's ultimate Contract, Chase Fate, allows him to lock onto and charge at an enemy from anywhere on the map, much like Spirit Breaker's Charge of Darkness. The main difference? Aldous doesn't need vision to target his enemies, giving him an edge for surprise attacks. Bane and Kunkka. Bane's ultimate Deadly Catch summons a giant wave that damages and pushes enemies, which feels very similar to Kunkka's Ghost Ship in Dota. While Kunkka's ship has additional utility with its rum buff, the thematic wave mechanic is shared by both heroes, Bane and Tusk. Bane's Fist Break and Tusk's Ice Shards both create walls that trap enemies, making it harder for them to escape. These skills are perfect for locking down opponents and forcing fights in tight spaces. Bruno and Lich. Bruno's Wave of the World and Lich's Chain Frost both involve projectiles that bounce between enemies, dealing damage with each hit. While Bruno's ability leans more on consistent poke, Lich's is devastating in clustered teamfights. Zeus and Eudora. Both are masters of lightning-based skills. Zeus's Lightning Bolt and Thunder God's Wrath bear a striking resemblance to Eudora's Lightning Bolt and Thunder's Wrath, both of which can deal devastating magic damage to enemies. Lesley and Sniper. Lesley's ultimate snipe and Sniper's assassinate are almost identical. Both allow these marksmen to lock onto a target and deal high damage from long distances. They're perfect for taking out low-health enemies trying to escape. Odette and Crystal Maiden. Odette's Swan Song and Crystal Maiden's Freezing Field both unleash massive AoE ultimates, dealing continuous damage over time. These ultimates are terrifying in team fights, forcing enemies to scatter or risk heavy damage. Baxia and Pangolier. Baxia's ultimate, Tortoise's Puissance, lets him roll around the map, damaging enemies in his path. This is similar to Pangolier's Rolling Thunder, which allows him to roll into enemies, stunning and dealing damage. Popol and Kunkka and Lone Druid. Popol summons his companion, Kunkka, while Lone Druid calls forth his Spirit Bear. Both companions deal significant damage and act as extensions of their heroes, adding a unique dynamic to their playstyles. Hanabi and Luna. Both are heavily item-dependent marksmen. Hanabi's passive makes her basic attacks bounce between enemies, similar to Luna's Moonglaves, which also lets her attacks ricochet, speeding up farming significantly. And lastly, Moskov and Mars. Both wield spears and have stunning abilities. Moskov's Spear of Misery can pin enemies to walls for a stun, while Mars's God's Rebuke and Spear of Mars combo can also stun enemies by throwing or pinning them against terrain. And there you have it. It's amazing how the DNA of MOBAs connects games like Mobile Legends and Dota 2, creating unique yet familiar gameplay experiences. Whether you're reminiscing about Dota or mastering Mobile Legends, the shared mechanics show how much these games inspire one another. Did we miss any skills? Let us know in the comments or suggest more content ideas. Don't forget to join my Discord at discord.gg/slbxx to chat, find teammates, or join giveaways and tournaments. And don't forget to subscribe. We are on the road for 100,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching.